What's an artist band that you love, but almost no one has heard of? James McMurtry. Stephen King calls him the truest, fiercest songwriter of his generation. His latest album, Horses and the Hounds, is yet another in a long line of brilliance. Hot water music. It's probably just the area I live in, but no one I've ever talked to, save for the one person that recommended them 10 years ago, has ever heard of them, and they're just fucking incredible. I like to describe them as a very punk rock inspired musically, with vocals and melodies that can range from Common Writer to Bruce Springsteen. I love them. I speak. They make Russian songs and I really like their music videos, but unless you want to be traumatized, don't watch the video for Fairy Tale. Unto others are called Idle Hands for a bit. Goth rock band with a metal tinge. Like a slightly heavier The Cure. Catchy as anything. I think they're on the way up and supporting some decent tours, but still quite niche for the moment. The Birthday Massacre. Nobody sounds like them. Also Death Stars. They recently had a new album come out, here's a track from it. Also Symphony X, Deep Sea Diver. I love her music. Never met anyone else who has even heard of her. Grisfolk as well. And Motherfolk. Kishi Bashi. There are so many layers and details in his songs, it's almost epic. His music makes me swell up on the inside. Black Moth Super Rainbow. One of my favorite tracks is Sun Lips. Also see the band Tobacco if you like BMSR. Fart Barf. One of my favorite tracks is Warpwhistle. Dead Sarah. Atmosphere. Max Bob's McDonald's themed Black Sabbath cover band. Black Audio. Edit in This Moment. Icarus the Owl. Incredible and complex math rock. Unfortunately haven't been active for a few years, but I highly recommend them. I Fight Dragons. They have a variety of songs and my husband and I used one as a song for our first dance at our wedding. Half Alive. They feel like a non-emo version of 21 Pilots and it really scratches my indie niche. Opus Science Collective. The Midnight. Magic Sword. Mitch Murder. Gunship. In certain communities these are big names but not really mainstream yet, though The Midnight is playing at some festivals. Grandson. His fanbase is growing but most of my friends don't know him. They might have heard a song or two. Hoping to make it to his concert in my country end of this summer. Also a good one, Infected Mushroom. I love Frank Turner. Seen him live in Portland, Oregon. I would think he is big in England, but not so much over here. But then his shows always sell out, but they could be just small venues. Genevieve Stokes. Gregory Alan Asakov. Rainbow Kitten Surprise. Kids in Space. Sheep, Dog Wolf. Local Natives. You know, I've been really digging Pine Grove recently, and the Arcs are super cool as well. While the members of the Last Shadow Puppets are very well known, I don't hear that many people talk about them, at least in the US. Edit host, and I almost forgot to mention Phineas, one of the best producers out there right now. The Classic Crime. They've been making music forever and it's really good. I guess I would call it alternative rock. Lyrics are usually pretty deep and insightful. Check them out. Mew. They are much more popular in Europe than the States. Saw them in Denver about 5 years ago and there were barely 30 people in the crowd. Put on an amazing show. The Get Up Kids. The only person I know who knows them is oddly enough good friends with the drummer. I'm not sure how popular they are, but Broken Bells. They have a few fantastic songs. The High Road might be my fave. Sarah Morris. I just walked into Hell's Kitchen in Minneapolis and she was performing. Not my genre at all normally. I just wanted a bloody after a bachelor party while everyone else recovered. I was zoned out until she played Used to Be Mine and then I was enthralled. This was November last year and she ended up my top played Spotify artist for 2022 with just 1 month of plays. Unexpect. Igor. Ryson, which includes members of Igor. Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum. Stolen Babies. Me Without You. Purity Ring. Penguin Prison. There is more, I just can't think of all of them. I like a lot of indie music and it's usually indie artists that people haven't heard of. Bub. They're a Canadian punk band and they've had Finn Wolfhard play with it and they've played at Lollapalooza, but no one I have spoken to has heard of them. I only found them because I hit the +50 option on YouTube. Maxim and the Hormone. Don't hear them mentioned at all, but they've got a pretty interesting style and some cool songs. I feel like some of these acts are more popular in other regions, but nobody around here knows them. Enter Shikari. Electric Callboy, formerly Eskimo Callboy. Live Confirmdy. Prefab Sprout, an English group of yesteryear, who probably never made it elsewhere. I think their song When Love Breaks Down is a classic, as is the LP, Steve McQueen. Anyhow, a link to a live performance. 3D. Lacuna Coil is a good band that once opened for Tool. Garbage was amazing and should have been bigger than they were. Most people don't listen to South African jazz. Ever hear of Hugh Masekela? Go listen to Grazing in the Grass, the Crane Wives. Some people seem to know them, but a lot of people I know have never heard of them. Catchy acoustic folk feel but with beautiful vocal harmonies. Ash Nico. Daisy and Slumber Party blew up, but not a lot of people have heard her other songs on Unlikable, Hi It's Me, Sass Pancakes, etc., which I enjoy more than Demi Devil. Built to Spill, Jeff the Brotherhood, Low Hum, Biting Elbows, two different bands called Stonefield, one stoner rock one power metal, Silkworm. Dread Zeppelin. I know this sounds super cheesy and it sort of is, but imagine a reggae band playing Zeppelin covers with an Elvis impersonator as lead singer. Listen to their album Unleaded and you won't regret it. Crywank. Jukebox Ghost. The Scary Jokes. Jiraiya. I don't know their popularity in the grand scheme of things, but no one I know has heard of most of them. Wynn Williams. Texas country singer. His songs are getting progressively better but his overall sound is already there. Surprised no one has taken a shot on this guy. I really like Leprous, a Norwegian prog metal band that's last album was decidedly more poppy. Dudes Are Machines, played 30-31 one days the month I saw them, even their sustain pedal couldn't keep up. Celtic Woman, the greatest band ever conceived of. They sing new age Celtic music. Most of their songs are Scottish Gaelic English hybrid, some are solely in Gaelic and some are solely in English. 12 Foot Ninja. They're like heavy metal funk jazz fusion from Australia. Manufacture of Consent. The Paper Chase no longer around but they are an odd bunch. Newfin. Also, no longer around. But people in my life never heard of them. Stereophonics. Jackie Green. The Matches. I think all the bands I listen are no longer around, except maybe Jackie Green. Young Dubliners, Celtic rock that's more on the rock side. Been to a lot of shows over the years and it's always a good time. Violet Orlandi, Brazilian singer who trained in England. Does a lot of rock metal covers on YouTube, has some good original stuff too. Voice similar to the Amy Lee of Evanescence. Carmen Goa, Mexican operatic singer, another YouTube find. Highly recommend her version of La Llorona. I think this Tiny Desk concert from Among Authors is a decent example of an unknown band taking their shot and crushing it. Seems to fit the question pretty well. Spilt. Psychedelic punk band from the UK. Pissed Jeans. Punk band from Allentown, PA. Mumbler. Really good indie band from Philly. Sir Chloe. I'd about globally but I'd bet money most people I interact with would have no idea who they are. 2 Cow Garage. Great name. Great band. Cowpunk is the only description, but it is also no description at all. Give them a listen. The Who, a metal band from Mongolia. Aurelian Weaponry, a New Zealand rock band, not super obscure, but Death Angel. Also 90s to present Bay Area thrash metal band. Was nominated for a Grammy once. Gordon Lightfoot. It's a massive shame since he's a goddamn legend. Maybe it's because I moved from the Midwest to the West but no one knows him out here. For me, there are two. Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. Teddy Swims. Reverend Teddy, Manchester Orchestra. They did the music for Swiss Army Man and their music video Simple Math was directed by the Daniels who just won the Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Indie rock that are def worth a listen to. Manchester Orchestra has been my favorite band for years and almost nobody I know listens to them. Wesley Willis. The man has schizophrenia bad and put out a lot of albums. Raw Emotion, putting it all out there. Rock Over London, Rock on Chicago. Also, Necrogobligan. Saw them live as an opener for Gwar. They are 10 times better than any band with a name like that has any right to be. Lol. Wednesday 13. If you love horror movies, this might just be your jam. Most of his music is either about horror movies, serial killers, or just general spooky stuff. Musically it's mostly a mixture of pop-punk metal, though it's the horror aspect that's the real selling point. The only reason I'm allowed to say it is because I was in the top 1 of listeners on Spotify last year, so I know no one else will hop on it. Sons of Texas, a metal band. The Epoxy's Everything Looks Beautiful on video. 45 Spider Find a Cave. X-Hex Waterfall. Eminence. They may be more well known than I think, but rarely come across anyone who has heard of them. Glory Tune from the 90s. Give She Was a Good Thing and Lessons from the Coffee Table and John Wayne to listen. Great 90s songs, You will feel like you're in Pete. There's already so many here that I already listened to, but a few personal favorites: God Forbid aka The Handsome Devil, Peculiar Pretzelman, The Circus Contraption, Nick the Barbarian, Full On Ill, Scarecrow, Ponzi Nocturnes, O Death, Black Venus, Fiddler, The Builders and the Butchers, O Death, Charlie Bliss, Fox Stevenson, Swing Rowers, American Murder Song. The Octopus Project: it seems like they've found more attention in recent years, but when my friend first introduced me, they had 400 YouTube subs now. They make weird instrumental stuff, but most of it is rad and groovy. It's a Beautiful Day. They're a criminally underrated psychedelic rock band from the 60s and 70s. Their self-titled album is great if you want chill music or are stoned low. They're getting bigger, but I found Rare Americans last year and hell do their tracks slap and hit right in the feels. Poor Man's Poisons? I'd give they still count since the boom that has been Hell's Coming with Me.